Hey everybody, welcome back. It's I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we're going to talk about Carnage! Again, we did Maximum Carnage, which is like kind of blowing your wad a little early.
Yeah.
You know, doing Maximum Carnage before the intro to Carnage.
I played that game.
Yes, you did.
You really, really
You
did.
played the hell out of their first year levels.
That game was really hard.
That's Maximum Carnage. This is just plain old Carnage. It's the intro to the Carnage character. You're going to
Also,
find out where he came from.
This is going to be a cakewalk.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot more straightforward and a lot less meandering and horrible than Maximum Carnage.
Okay.
So this starts out in 1991.
It's funny, you said less horrible, but you didn't say good.
Well, that's in the eye of the beholder. We'll see what you think. I'm excited to hear what you guys think. So, all right, David Michelinie's writing Amazing Spider-Man, and they want to introduce... Actually, Michelinie, who we actually wound up talking to for a long time in our Dead show Big Shots, gave us a little bit of insight into Venom and what he wanted to get out of that character, because he actually helped create Venom along with Todd McFarlane. And Michelinie wanted originally for Venom to be not tied to one person. He liked the idea of the alien symbiote, you know, giving someone, some ordinary person, spider powers, make him look rad, but he also wanted it to be different people. Like, his first pitch was to make Venom a woman who was miscarrying on the side of the road as real to Spider-Man.
Ah.
And that she blamed Spider-Man for losing her baby, and that's why she is full of venom and stuff.
Oh.
That was not responded well in the spider offices.
I am not surprised.
And so they decided to go with, like, a muscle-bound moron who was fired for just incompetence. So Michelinie had always tried to, like, Trojan horse his change into Venom. And so he's like, I know what I'll do. Venom was introduced in Amazing Spider-Man 300, and we're eventually going to get to 400. We'll kill Eddie Brock, and we'll have the Venom symbiote do the stuff I wanted it to do in the first place.
Be an abortion.
That's
Well,
a lot of time to wait.
it was a long time. But then sales for Venom were going crazy. And every time Venom showed up, they saw dollar signs. And so as a result, Michelinie knew, he'd been in the industry long enough to know, there's no way they're going to let me kill Venom.
And you can't sit on this thing.
Right. And so what he decided to do instead was to kind of just make his own Venom. Like a new Venom that was something else. And so since Venom was on his way to becoming a lethal protector, where he's like an anti-hero, which is, of course, Marvel's response to, oh, a supervillain that's getting really popular and would sell his own books.
I guess we'll make him a good...
Make him an anti-hero. You know, and then in the 90s was, you know, a haven for anti-heroes. So it made sense they shoved Venom into that mold that he only fit in for a couple of years. So Michelinie's like, I know, I'll make, like, an anti-Venom. Not to be confused with Dan Slott created anti-Venom, who we'll do someday in the future. But,
And is anti-Venom white?
yeah.
Okay.
Because he's not actually a symbiote.
Oh.
Yeah.
It could also be if the Venom symbiote took over Aunt May.
Yes, then it's anti-Venom. Yes. Thank you. Good contribution. God damn it. The character has no moral code. He's just complete chaos. In fact, that's what we're going to call him. We'll call him Chaos. And it'll be like, oh.
We all saw that.
Oh, as it turns out, DC is making a character called, like, Lord Chaos or some goddamn whatever. And they're like...
I'm still amazed that Marvel didn't just say, you know what?
Screw him.
Exactly.
They should have done that. Yeah. Oh no, it's true. But yeah, they should have. But I'm glad they didn't, because Chaos sucks. And they were like, no, the distinguished competition, which is what Marvel likes to call DC.
Okay.
They also less affectionately refer to them as Warner Comics.
Oh.
Until they got bought by Disney, and then they were like, oh, shut my mouth. Then they went to Ravage. But they can't do Ravage, because Stan Lee was working on Ravage 2099. So they threw that out the window, and then they finally settled on Carnage, and thank God they did, because we've talked about this before in our Spider-Man 2099 episode. Carnage is a better name overall than Chaos or Ravage.
Well, considering what it wants to do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't fall to the word Carnage when I think of, like, what Carnage is. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta work to get him to be like, I caused carnage, and so I shall be called that. Like, it's a lot of exercise to get there. But it's worth it because the character just sounds better.
Yeah, but how did you come up with Venom in the first place? Like,
Right?
spiders have Venom, and it's black.
Eddie Brock's justification in the narrative is that he was forced, after he lost his job. If you're not familiar with Venom's origin, a very truncated version is he was a shitty reporter whose neighbor was schizophrenic and thought he was a serial killer, so he confessed to Eddie Brock, a reporter at the time, his whole, like, psychotic fantasy about being the Sin Eater, this murderer.
Yeah, and then he reported on that and then was shown up by Peter Parker.
Yeah, well, actually, Spider-Man just caught the Sin Eater. That's all Peter Parker did.
Oh, I thought Peter Parker actually, like, did a story about
No, Peter Parker was just a photographer. He doesn't write shit. It was just, he literally just, Spider-Man stopped the real Sin Eater, Stan Carter, and then when he was outed in the Daily Bugle and everywhere else, Brock was a disgrace. And so as such, he couldn't get a really good job doing what he was trained to do, and so he was forced to write, like, shitty tabloid stuff, which actually isn't a really bad job at all, but, like, the fact that
he still pays the bills, but for him it wasn't reporting.
Exactly, and for him, he had to write, like, gossip stuff, and it was just, he was forced to print Venom.
Right, but he's so good at writing gossip.
Right, exactly. He's so used to writing full stories that are sensational headlines. I mean, I don't get it.
Does Eddie Brock hate Peter Parker?
He hates Peter Parker because Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
But did he hate him before he knew he was... Okay.
No, the suit knew he was Peter Parker, so the suit told him.
Oh. He's like,
oh, well,
that jerk.
Great. Now I'll go to his house and kill him. And that caused a lot of tension and a lot of, like, really, really juicy stories for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the idea was that Cletus Cassidy was this, like, hick cellmate of Eddie Brock during Venom Returns, which is our very first episode of Back Issues. Mm-hmm. And Brock was working out, and Cletus Cassidy was, like, a weird, creepy jerk who had no interest in Brock, and Brock kept talking about how he's like, he thinks that the suit's dead at that point. And so the suit returns, and
that is not a face anyone should ever have to see.
It looks like the Joker.
It does look like the Joker. And Carnage is kind of like Marvel's Joker, or at least they were trying in the 90s. He's like if the 90s created the Joker.
Right.
So he sucks. And perfectly illustrated, by the way, in J.M. DeMatteis's Spider-Man Batman book.
Yeah.
So Venom, eventually, the symbiote breaks Venom out of jail, and then we see Venom Returns. But it asexually reproduces a spawn on its way out.
Right.
And because symbiotes, in the context of this story, and not in the later retconning of the symbiotes and where they came from and what they're all about, in the context of this story, the symbiote doesn't really regard the birthing process. It's just like, I do this sometimes. So it never told Venom or Eddie Brock when it left, like, oh, by the way, I gave birth on the way out. So that's why Venom's not like, we gotta stop that or anything.
Or like, hey, maybe you should get me a card and some balloons.
Because I've just gone through a real ordeal here. Michelini's like, I want to really hammer home the idea that Carnage is gross. And, like, he's really hardcore. Like, he's a really messed up character. So when he's like talking to himself, he's talking to the symbiote, and then the guard is like, Cassidy, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, come here and I'll show you. And then you see this, like, blood red goop come out of his chest, and then what we don't see is what the guards discover, and it's that he pulled the guard through the bars and then broke through the wall the same way that Eddie Brock did. And you're like, whoa! And then we get a little epilogue where Carnage basically officially kills his first victim as Carnage.
Okay.
And it's this guy named Gunny Stein.
It's not this guy?
No, right? I thought it was just the guard, but no, he's like, I went through a phone book, I looked up really stupid names, I came up with you, and now you're gonna die. And so he grabs the guy's face, and then his symbiote pours inside of Gunny and kills him. And this is also establishing the look of the Carnage symbiote.
Yeah, why is he red?
Because it looks awesome.
If he asexually reproduced, wouldn't it just...
Wouldn't it just look like Venom?
Well,
yeah.
Because this guy is a redhead. So
yeah, because Carnage is red.
There.
Because Cassidy's a redhead.
But Eddie Brock's a blonde.
Yeah, but Eddie
Moving
Brock
on.
didn't have the original black costume. Peter Parker
Yes,
did.
right. And Peter Parker has brown hair. What I do like...
the Venom was born in space, and this is born on Earth, and shut up.
So, the Carnage suit is actually really fun because Mark Bagley got to design him, and he really, really wanted to make Carnage, like, look like he was moving. He was like... Venom was so static, and such a product of the time that he was born in, that I really wanted to kind of play with the format and play with the character and play with the look. And so since Bagley had like full reign of the character, he wanted to give him like all these tendrils and all these different like motion. And the editors were like, it's too distracting, no. So every once in a while he'll put like a couple of like goopy like blops that fly off him and stuff, but otherwise he's pretty much just a red Venom.
Right.
But although
no spider.
The black that's also on
mixed with him
looks like he's dripping.
Yes.
It looks like he's wet.
And I think that's intentional. I think that's supposed to like that's his way of like compromising the look of motion.
He's just slimy all the time.
I would assume.
Like all the time.
Yeah.
That's gross.
It's it's alive. So
like if someone was covered in blood.
Right. And that's what they're trying to go for. So Carnage murders Chip, a colleague of Peter Parker's at Empire State University. And that's it.
Why?
Wait, does Carnage also know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
No. It's not
even though
it's not like information is spread through the birthing process. No, it's just Carnage has no idea. Thank God too, because that would be a nightmare. But no.
Then why does it look like a spider person?
Oh, because it's Venom's baby. Because Venom looks awesome, and we need to make another Venom, and we don't want it to look too different from Venom, because otherwise people who like what Venom is because of how he looks won't buy Carnage. So, anyway, Carnage kills Chip. And the reason he kills Chip is because Carnage likes to kill random people. He's just a force of nature.
What was Cletus in jail for?
Murdering people.
Just anyone?
Oh, he was a serial killer too.
Okay.
Like beforehand. It's like, what if you gave this power from the stars to someone who has no moral code and no filter and just a complete maniac.
And the symbiote's like, cool.
The symbiote doesn't have any real. Yeah, it's weird. When we first see Carnage like talking to the suit, we assume that there's like some kind of like back and forth. There's really never going to be one. Like until later when they start like retconning him, but like for the most,
this is just Cassidy talking to himself.
It's just Cassidy. Like for example, Venom refers to himself as us.
Right.
Because he and the suit are like kind of one entity and they share a connection, and like Venom like listens to the suit. But when Carnage talks about himself or refers to himself, he says me, I. He speaks in the singular.
Is this because when Peter Parker had the symbiote suit,
like he didn't know it was alive?
He didn't know it was alive, so he treated it like it was just a suit.
Yeah, and so Venom's like, no, in deference to you, I will like it's a partnership.
And then when he grew to hate Peter Parker and Spider-Man, then when he found Eddie Brock, I already have a personality, and it's filled with anger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe. That would work, because, yeah.
Isn't it weird that he would specifically go to Empire State University?
Yes.
Like, that's weird.
We need to get Spider-Man involved in the story immediately.
I think
you don't have to just, shoehorn in a friend of Peter Parker's.
Yeah, but
it could be anybody.
Yeah, but who cares? Also, let's get rid of Chip. Chip sucks. So they kill Chip.
Have we seen Chip before?
Yes.
Okay.
He not to any major fanfare or anything. It's not like Chip was a villain or something.
It's because Chip's hair sucks, isn't it?
I mean, yeah.
And Chip's mustache.
Yeah.
It is pretty weak.
Yeah, Chip.
So he kills Chip, and Spider-Man finds out, and he's sad. And
he T-1000s him.
He does. It's really cool.
Oh, he fucks him.
He does fuck him.
But this guy's dead.
Yeah, he's not stunned.
Hence.
I'm sure he was stunned. Spider-Man finds out, and he's going to go meet with Mary Jane for her, because she's on soap opera, and she's working, and she only has, a finite amount of time for lunch, and so Peter's going to meet her, and what's interesting is we're establishing the disconnect between, the writing staff and the readers, because the writing staff is like, I don't want to write about this married Spider-Man anymore. I would like to fix this by ruining it. And so Mary Jane muses to herself about how, I can't believe that Peter's so late meeting me. He knows I only have, a finite amount of time to work at this thing. And, I feel like sometimes we saw each other more before we were married. And you're like, what the hell are you doing, Michelini?
Oh.
And it's he's sowing the seeds of, it's an imperfect marriage. And, maybe they'll let me unmarry them. Or maybe it's just good story drama, But in any case, he meets her, and then she has something to tell him, and he has something to tell her. She says, you can go first. And he's like, Chip's dead. And she's like, oh! And she immediately forgets about being mad at him. And then he gives her context for where Carnage came from.
Oh, wait, who?
Exactly.
He's like, I don't know, some guy named Chip.
Because when they colored Spider-Man in his black suit, they used blue highlights, and I'm like, no, it should be static black.
That's adorable.
Yeah, this is an old copy.
I have to fix this.
Yeah, no. But then when I did, it's this awful looking matte, and I'm like, oh, I ruined it.
You ruined it.
So anyway,
No, now he looks like he's real. Like there are dynamic shadows.
Yeah,
in
now
him.
he's 3-dimensional.
Thank you. He was 3-dimensional before. So Spider-Man, for no reason, gives the full origin of like where the Venom suit comes from, because he's like, he heard the description of the attack on
Right.
Chip, and it sounds like Venom.
Right, and he's also like, don't forget, everyone.
This is how Venom was created.
Yep.
And this is where it came from. Because, yes, Michelini is under direct orders to contextualize everything that's happening. Also, it fills up pages.
Look, I don't really have a story yet. I figured I would just let him kill some people, and then he'll get stopped.
Yeah, and we'll have a full 2 pages of Venom's origin for the umpteenth time, and that'll save some time.
Why does Venom have real teeth, but...
But Carnage has like black teeth?
Yeah.
Because it looks cool.
Are there any questions I'm going to ask that aren't answered with, because it looks cool?
Probably not.
Okay.
Why does the writing suck? Because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, so Venom. So the context for where Venom is right now, and the reason why it's weird that that Spider-Man would be so shocked that Venom committed these murders, is because this story takes place after Venom returns, when Spider-Man left Venom on a deserted island, having thought that he murdered Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he sees like a skeleton.
Yeah, Spider-Man took his shredded costume and put it onto a skeleton.
Which,
He
totally
just had-
convinced him.
It did, because Venom's an idiot.
He just had a skeleton.
No, it was near a gravesite.
Oh, so he defiled a grave.
Oh,
It was a long time ago, yeah.
But yes.
But yes. So Spider-Man starts doing some research. He knows about Venom's... he knows that Venom is on the island. He knows that it can't be Venom. So then he immediately just jumps to the conclusion that it must be Cletus Cassidy, Venom's old cellmate.
Also, that's a huge leap in logic.
I know. He learns about what a sick person he is.
He looks like the Joker.
Yeah, and so he starts doing research. And it's actually one of my favorite ways to show and not tell while also telling in a comic. It's a tribute to Michelini's experience as a writer. He has Peter do the Batman-esque research where he goes to the Bugle, I think, and uses their archives to look through newspaper clippings about Cletus Cassidy, and he discovers that Cletus has a history of violence and murder all the way up to the point when he was in an orphanage, and the orphanage burned down, and he's like, did Cletus burn his own orphanage down? Is that how far back it goes? Is that how fucked up he is? So he goes around and starts asking people for information about Cletus. So it's this great montage of Spider-Man and Peter Parker going to different places. Peter Parker asking neighbors about Cletus Cassidy, Spider-Man running down other crooks and asking them for information about Cletus. Most people don't want to tell
random
anything.
muggers hey, do you know a guy named Cletus Cassidy?
Yeah, and they're like,
no.
Some of them do, and they're like, I'm not going to tell you a damn thing. He's a lunatic. And it's cool, we're establishing Cletus's character without developing one. So all we know is he is, as Spider-Man puts it, one sick puppy. And you're like, oh.
And all these people could be lying.
Yeah, but they're not.
Well, with a name like Cletus Cassidy,
Uh-huh.
he really didn't have too many ways to go.
No.
I mean...
Look, you're either going to shoe horses or you're going to kill people.
Right? So, it's up to you, kid.
This is, yeah.
Sorry.
So, Spider-Man goes to the orphanage to, try and, learn information.
Oh.
And it turns out that that's where Carnage lives.
Wait, hang on.
The one that burned down.
The one that burned down.
Yeah, it's still there.
They kept it?
It's a derelict building.
Okay.
It costs too much to knock down.
I'm sorry. This was when he was a child.
Yes.
It's been 20 years and it's still there.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, they built a strip mall in our nearby town 20 years ago. And then they ran out of money. And it was just left there.
And there are still stores in it that operate.
Yeah, now, but for a good 15 years, it was just sitting there.
Right, but
and it cost too much to knock over.
Right, but those things were usable if you wanted them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no one did.
This is not usable at all.
But it's usable land. It's right in the middle of Manhattan.
I know.
Yeah, so why wouldn't someone buy it and knock the place down?
Maybe they thought it was cursed or something. It's a messed up situation. It's probably scary.
I will say this. Any orphanage that burns down and, tons of children die in it, I don't want that land.
No!
There are going to be dead kid ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Forget it.
No, it's okay. You bring someone in.
You get Doctor Strange to come down.
What
I am not an exorcist!
Yeah,
what if it was in
could
Japan?
be. Well, we're not, though.
What if it was?
But we're not.
So anyway,
you knock that
Cletus...
down, it's going to be nothing but hair.
Exactly.
So Carnage is living in the orphanage, and Spider-Man discovers him, and he's like, oh, crap. So then they have their first fight. And it's cool, because Venom fights Spider-Man the way, like, a big evil Spider-Man would fight him. With, like, webs and strength and wall-crawling ability. Cletus/Carnage immediately uses his own suit. Like, the suit, like, stretches out and tries to stab him. Spider-Man webs his face. Usually that's a good move, because it blinds the enemy, and also they have to get the stuff off of them. Venom learned a trick where his suit just expands, and it's like snaps the webbing. Carnage, his face just melds over the webbing and then climbs up the line and then grabs him on the arm. It's just a great way to convey like how different Carnage is from Venom.
Okay.
I love the look of Venom.
But he's still affected by fire and sonics, right?
Yeah, which I don't care for, because Venom was born, or at least ostensibly when he was first created, he was born in the vacuum of space.
Right.
So he wouldn't have built
those
natural
vulnerables.
defenses to the things that would be non-evident in the vacuum of space. Fire and sonic, sound and fire. But Carnage was born on Earth, so he should be able to defend against those things.
But then
I was
nothing could
born
stop
on this
him.
plane.
Right.
So...
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Barnage. So, Spider-Man fights Carnage. Some cops show up. Spider-Man wants to save them. Carnage throws pieces of himself at the cops.
Cops show up to this abandoned place that no one is
It makes a
gone to.
ruckus.
Must be some teenagers.
Oh, there's also a cool
doing
moment.
the drugs.
Carnage makes a axe.
Doing that weed.
that makes them violent and
doing?
crazy.
Yeah.
Carnage makes an axe out of his own symbiote and then throws it at Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's like, oh, wow, that's a new trick. Maybe I can use the axe against him, and then the axe falls apart. So it establishes like the rules and limitations of the weaponry of Carnage.
Doesn't he need those? Do those pieces go back to him?
No.
Wouldn't he run out of symbiote?
Run it himself? Apparently not. So the idea is that once Carnage separates himself, like, from himself,
Yeah.
it'll rot.
So I don't get the point of that. If he can make as much of himself
Himself
as he
possible,
wants,
yeah.
how would he ever run out?
Exactly. Well, and maybe it's a play on Venom when Spider-Man first fought Venom, because the idea was that Spider-Man's webbing comes from his web shooters, from a formula he makes. When he got the suit the first time, he didn't need the web shooters anymore, but it still made webbing. And he was like, that's weird. Why is that? And it turns out that it was because it was using its own and Spider-Man's natural waste and converting it into webbing. It was using, basically itself
Gross.
to generate webbing. Agreed.
Yeah, you said the word waste.
Yes, well, that's
Yes.
what they say.
Well, I crawled into its rectum, and then I pulled out the crap, and then I converted that
No, and
into a sticky goop.
I think the original idea was that the suit had its own waste byproduct that it converted into webbing. So
I'm sorry, but anytime you thwip someone in the face with that, that's just gross.
I agree. So
Sorry.
Venom is fighting Spider-Man, and they're on top of a church, and Spider-Man knocks him off, and then Venom shoots his webbing to stop his fall. And Spider-Man remembers that the webbing is organic, and so he uses parts of himself in order to make the webbing. So he just starts cutting the line. And so Venom keeps making webs, and eventually he runs out of waste, and so he starts using himself to generate webbing. And so as such, he is unable to make enough webbing. And so he basically just depletes a bunch of himself and falls.
Right.
So Carnage would ostensibly run out of himself, but
we don't see
we
that.
never see that.
We do instead see these two, mom walking in on the two of them.
Yeah. I like it. I like the idea that Carnage wraps Spider-Man in himself.
Are you boys worth housing?
No.
Are you belly and Rossiter?
No. Anyway, Carnage shoots pieces of himself at some cops. Spider-Man saves them.
Now Spider-Man will get blamed for this somehow.
No, they saw the guy, and Spider-Man saved the other guy. So
Oh my god, it's a Spider-Man and another really red Spider-Man!
I know. No one is just everyone's so stupid. I'm shocked that no one was played up with that, where they were like, yeah, it's just red. It's just a redder Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man saves the cops, but Carnage gets away, and he's like, shit. Like, I am in trouble. The Peter Parker plot point, subplot, has always got to be like the A plot and the B plot. Spider-Man having a problem fighting Carnage. What's Peter Parker up to, though?
He's having problems with Mary Jane.
Yeah, and the problem is she's smoking.
Wait, you're gonna gloss over the sweet sign that Carnage leaves?
Oh yeah, he writes Carnage rules on the wall before he leaves.
Really?
Yeah, using his own blood.
Because he rules, you see. So,
Well, because okay.
Much like O'Doyle.
well,
there are a couple of things. There are a couple of tidbits of information about Carnage you need to know.
That he
One,
rules.
He rules.
Two, Spider-Man drools. I didn't have enough blood to make the rest of the sign, but you get the idea.
You got the idea. I would have passed out. You would have defeated me. Carnage is a metalhead. Like Cletus Cassidy loves death metal.
Okay.
And so he's treated like what a 45-year-old white guy from like the suburbs thinks a like roadie for Metallica would act like. And so he writes Carnage rules.
See, that also sucks because I figure if he was into like death metal or whatever metal was going on at the time, he would make the suit sort of reflect that.
Yeah, it doesn't. But
like it would have some sweet horns and like be able to look like a giant knight, like a dark knight or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Knight, but like an evil knight.
You can't do that.
No, but the reason why I bring up the metal at all is because it's integral to the end of the story.
So, the Carnage rules thing, clearly he wrote that because he was like, I'll introduce myself, but then, what if he doesn't remember my name?
Yeah.
Or the fact that I'm awesome?
Yeah, so I need a 2-word sentence that conveys all those ideas.
Got it.
Bingo. Huh.
Go.
He also writes incredibly legibly.
He really does, and he gets the exclamation point in there. He really doesn't need it.
He needs you to know, emphatically, that I rule.
Right?
What if it's like a period? No.
No.
While it is a fact.
No, those are Carnage rules. Like
What
like
if they think it's rules. Like? What if they think I screwed up a colon?
Right.
And that I was going to write other rules?
Right?
No. Carnage rules. Anyways, Mary Jane's smoking, so Spider-Man knocks it off. Like he's like, "Hey, don't smoke," and she's like, "Okay." She doesn't stop, but she would like to. So then Spider-Man's like, "Shit, I don't have the power to beat Carnage by myself. I need to bring Venom into this.
I need Venom to eat Carnage."
Yeah. He doesn't eat anyone.
I need him to flex all of his muscles and bare his teeth.
It's just a cool image. We need to see Venom look cool.
Plus, Brock is like huge.
He is huge. So, by the way, I think it's the worst idea. Why doesn't... Because here's the thing. The idea is... The whole conceit of this book is... Wouldn't it be cool if Venom and Spider-Man teamed up?
Right.
No.
And that... I agree. Everyone else disagrees with you. And me. Trust me. Everyone was like, Spider-Man and Venom! To the point where Maximum Carnage, the game, is called Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage.
No, I know. And like, here's the thing. Yes, I think that is an
would that be
interesting
cool?
concept. Like, what would those two team up over?
Yes.
If not this.
No, it has to be that. An evil Venom.
Because wouldn't he just call anyone else he knows?
Yes, so he does. He calls the Fantastic Four, and he gets Johnny Storm the Human Torch. Perfect, right?
Fire!
Yes, so then they go to the island where they left Venom, so they can convince Venom to go with them. Not bring the Human Torch to go fight Carnage. And leave Venom on the island.
Hey, Johnny, here's what we're going to do. I don't know if he knows what you look like. You just be a regular guy. Let him, get up in your face and then flame on.
No. They bring the Fantastic Car so that Venom immediately recognizes who it is. So the Spider-Man and the Human Torch go to the island in the Fantastic Car. Spider-Man also brings the sonic gun that Reed Richards invented that he used on Venom before.
Just in case the fire doesn't work.
So they're ready to fight Carnage.
They're ready to fight. Yeah, they're... Superficially, they're ready to fight Carnage. But in the story, they're ready to convince Venom to fight Carnage.
They could call Iron Man, too.
Yeah.
And couldn't he,
create, a repulsor blast?
Yeah, change his repulsor blast to a sonic blast.
Yes. And they could bring Thor in.
Doesn't all the other heroes know about Carnage at this point?
No. Carnage has just been invented.
They can get Sue Storm to just put a bubble around Carnage until he runs out of oxygen.
Oh,
yes.
No, I know that, but I mean, in terms of this storyline, the timeline they're retconning here.
Yeah, the other heroes do not know about Carnage. This is the first time he showed
heard
up.
About
these murders.
Yeah.
Even if they did, they wouldn't give a shit.
We are way above that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, the Fantastic Four are probably in the negative zone. They usually are.
Iron Man's drunk.
Yeah. He's not anymore, but he's also selling horribly. So no one cares.
So maybe he is drinking.
So
Yeah.
he would have been like, "Hey, Spider-Man, you want to team up?
You?
I don't think
Come
so.
on, I got the suit."
And you know, Michelini wrote Iron Man and created Jim Rhodes, so it would make sense. Again, no.
Okie dokie.
So Spider-Man goes to Venom. Venom's sitting there on the island. He's Eddie Brock. He's just having another wonderful, glorious day in paradise. And Spider-Man's like, "Hey man, you gotta come with me." And he's like, "Are you freaking serious?" So they fight, and it's cool.
Wait, this island is a paradise?
Well, it's a paradise in as much as like it's an island, and like Venom's jacked and has the symbiote, so like it's got food and water and like shelter and stuff. He's good.
How does he? Oh, sand.
Yeah. Venom uses his symbiote to shoot a lot of sand at Johnny and snuff out the flames. Then the suit grabs Johnny and then shoves him underwater, where he
Why
can't
he just-
breathe or flame on.
Why does he need to say?
He doesn't need to say flame on. He just does.
Wait, are you telling me that if Johnny Storm was the Human Torch on fire and flew into the ocean, he would not just burn the water around him into steam?
First he was snuffed out using sand. Then he was put underwater.
Well, why doesn't he just turn it back on?
He can't, because he's
Why?
underwater.
I'm sorry. Just because he's in the air means he can turn his powers
Yes!
on. Why?
He's underwater! Are you kidding me?
He doesn't actually...
He needs oxygen to burn!
There's oxygen in water!
Can you light a match underwater?
Yes!
Yeah, certain ones.
Well, not this one. So, Human Torch realizes there's nothing he can do. He's going to die. So, and Venom breaks the sonic gun immediately. And so Johnny
So these guys really were not ready for Carnage.
No, exactly. That's also, maybe that's Michelini's way of being like, yeah, you think it makes sense for Johnny to go, but like he can't even beat Venom. So
What a punk.
Yeah, so Johnny uses his Nova Flame, which we've seen him use before.
Underwater?
Underwater?
It does underwater. Well, because it's so powerful that, and it doesn't
He can't
stay.
use his powers underwater.
It doesn't stay lit
Unless he does.
It just flashes and it burns the symbiote. He gets up, but he's spent. He used the Nova Flame, so he can't use his powers for a little while.
And he lights a cigarette. He's like, sorry guys, I'm spent.
I'm spent. So
I clearly don't understand.
He's like, you and Mary
Powers
Jane
work.
with the cigarettes!
yeah.
Ah!
Where'd you get those? Spider-Man is about to die because Venom's going to pick up like a big truck and drop it on him. But Johnny just walked into the Fantastic Car and then used the onboard sonic ray and shot Venom with it.
Why did we even bring a sonic gun?
Why did we park?
Why didn't we just
Shoot
fly
him
by
from
and
the air.
shoot him?
Why did we lead with that one?
Well, because I think they were hoping he was just going to be like, cool, yeah, I'm in.
Wait, why do we even come and get Venom?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So Spider-Man, while Venom is like trying to reconstitute, Spider-Man's like, I gotta reach him like right now. Listen, there's another Venom, and it's like killing people. And he's like, okay, I'm listening. And so he's convinced, and so then Venom goes with them
Why does Eddie Brock care?
because he feels like a little responsible for having created Carnage and then like letting him, run amok. So
That's-
innocents are dying.
that's-
He's going to become the lethal protector.
That's really the symbiote's problem.
I agree, but he's part of the symbiote, so they gotta go
The
together.
symbiote was a negligent parent.
Agreed. Oh, no question.
Oh, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I just put together that the symbiote was an orphan, Cletus Cassidy was an orphan.
Nice. So anyway, Spider-Man and Human Torch and Venom go in the Fantastic Car, go back to New York. Meanwhile, while that cool fight was happening, Carnage kills another guy. So
Is this one random too?
yeah. So
To be fair,
but this is a rich guy.
this is great though, because like, there's not a whole lot of odds that he's gonna get to you eventually.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause
one
it's so
in
random?
It's one in however many people are in New York.
Right.
Yes.
Guess what? Just don't list your name in the phone book and you're safe.
Yeah, clearly that seems to be his.
It seems like a lot of work for him to be so random.
I agree. I think he's just testing his powers. He's just enjoying himself.
Well, they should just go to like a mall.
Yeah.
You'll see that soon.
And kill
He doesn't go to the mall, but he will do something like that.
All right.
So anyway, Venom and
Oh, never mind.
So Venom and Spider-Man, so Human Torch is like, have a good fight, bye, and then he bails on them, and then Spider-Man and Venom have to go track down Carnage together.
I'm sorry, why did the Human Torch bail?
Because he's not in the book anymore.
He's got like 2 dates.
Yeah, one after the other. He's got a 3 company, this bitch.
No.
So,
Oh, they shake hands. They do the thing.
they do. They team up. And it's funny because
But then, like, the symbiote suit, like,
Crosses.
crawls over Spider-Man's hand. He's like, no, none of that.
Yeah,
We're done with that.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, you can't bail on him now and become.
And
part
Eddie
of it.
Brock's like, you whore.
Yeah, that happens so many times. I feel so bad for him.
Feels like the first time.
We can't. No, we don't know that. Carnage goes back to the scene of one of his original crimes, like from his spree,
Okay.
which is still wrecked, and he's like, the cops don't even know that I've done this yet. But
No one cleans up in this city.
no. So, and he does reveal that the suit is talking to him in his head.
Okay.
And the suit's like, you're going back to the scene of the crime, like the scene to like this murdered, wrecked apartment. Like, what is the matter with you? And he's like, no, it's fun. Like, we're having a good time. Like, we're so powerful. Like, it doesn't matter.
And the super suit says, are we? You know what? I think
Yeah.
I'm going to bail.
Then, yeah, exactly. So then Carnage, like, starts watching TV. He gets incensed because he's watching, like, a hero or a cop get honored for, like, heroic service. And he's like, look at all these phonies and all this bullshit. And they're just like, oh, now all of a sudden, like, Carnage is, like, has a problem with authority, and he, like, doesn't buy into, like, the established hierarchy of, like, who is a hero and who isn't. And then he, like, looks at a newspaper nearby, and he's like, and you're the worst of them all, and I'm gonna show everyone, like, what a farce this all is.
Spider-Man?
No. So he points, like, at the newspaper. His suit, like, drills a hole through the newspaper, and then like, he goes to get, like, some food out of the fridge. Spider-Man and Venom, like, start swinging around the city, and they're like, so it's a needle in a haystack, what are we gonna do? And Venom's like, no, like, because Carnage is connected to me, I can feel when he's nearby. So we'll just use my, like, internal divining rod to look for him.
Sweet. Are we anywhere nearby? Because Manhattan...
Is huge.
New York itself is huge.
Yeah.
No, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, we just swing around until we feel it.
But maybe we should just use the Fantastic Car. Oh.
No, yeah, that's right. So
Damn it, Johnny!
And
Damn
by the
it,
way,
you and your dates!
Neither Venom nor Spider-Man have inherent abilities that would defeat a symbiote. So, it was a really swell idea. So then Spider-Man and Venom just jump into the apartment where Cassidy is, and then you get to see these three characters all in one scene.
And then they all, like, squat at each other.
Yeah, because they look awesome. And I love that
I'm ready to pounce.
Spider-Man says something like, this is weird seeing everybody together. Like, it's just a weird, like, neat visual.
Well,
as if to say, like, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Isn't this awesome?
Especially considering you've got them set up so you've got the red and the black, and then the red and very dark blue in the middle with Spider-Man.
Yeah. So Carnage is like, yo, Venom, like, this is awesome. Hey, like, you couldn't shut up about killing Spider-Man when we were in the cell together. Let's team up and kill Spider-Man. And Venom's like, it's a tempting offer, but I'm going to have to decline. So then the two of them fight.
We shook on it.
While they're fighting, there's a lady in the lower apartment with a baby, and she's, like, banging on the ceiling. She's like, hey, my baby's trying to sleep. And then Carnage rips open the floor. He's like, babies! And he grabs the baby, and then he throws it out the window. So then Spider-Man and Venom have to, like, leap out the window to save this baby. And then you get to see Venom hold the baby. And it's kind of cool. and they're like, damn it, like, Carnage is gone.
And the baby doesn't cry or anything, even though this monster is holding it with giant teeth.
No, but he's using a piece of his symbiote to, like, create a little, like, cute thing that's, like, tickling him.
And going up his nose and into his brain.
He wouldn't kill a baby.
No,
it's an
no,
innocent.
I want to see your thoughts.
That's not how that works.
He's infecting it with...
That's not how that works either. Spider-Man goes, so Venom, do you feel Carnage anywhere nearby? He's like, no. And he goes, oh, cool. Great.
What?
Yeah.
He was just here.
I know.
How did we find him before?
Yeah.
You feel like getting a bite?
Yeah, no. Spider-Man's like, I don't know where we're going. I don't know where to go. Oh, wait a minute. Look at the newspaper. And there's a big picture of J. Jonah Jameson. And there's a hole through his face. And he's like,
And Spider-Man's like,
I will go
I'm going to go have dinner.
Yeah.
With my wife.
Hey, that island. How far away is it? So now they know that J. Jonah Jameson's the next target of Carnage.
right.
So we see JJ at the Daily Bugle, and then Carnage shows up, and he's like, you represent, like, whatever. Who cares? The point is, he's
This
like...
sucks because he suddenly changed his whole mantra.
Yep.
Yeah, I kill
He
random
used
people.
to kill random people, just be like, because I can. Now,
Yeah.
now he's got a problem.
And you mean something, and now I gotta kill you. Yeah.
Now I hate flat tops and little mustaches.
I hate Hitler and Hitler-looking people.
So you're going down.
So it's you and Charlie Chaplin and...
Yep. Wait.
Oh, I already lost Charlie Chaplin.
Well, he's dead? Where's he buried?
I'm gonna kill you twice.
Yeah.
I
Grabs...
kill you twice.
So Carnage grabs J. Jonah Jameson, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, but I need to, like, prove that you are, like, representative of what's wrong with society or what's wrong with everything. So I gotta kill you in front of, like, people who are gonna get me. So then he grabs Jonah and he leaves. And
he's not going to be like, I have to write a scathing expose about you first.
right, exactly. So Spider-Man and Venom go to the Bugle, and they're it's being investigated for the kidnapping of J. Jonah Jameson. And Spider-Man and Venom are like, "Hi."
Venom's like,
Yeah. And Robbie's like, Spider-Man, what the fuck is Venom doing here? This is the worst plan you've ever had. And Spider-Man's like, I know. I'll vouch for him. And Venom's like, nice.
Okay, seeing all of these shots where Venom just has his mouth open, he's just like,
yeah, he's just having a good time. He's just happy to be part of the team.
huh?
Yeah.
Just-
It's such a baked-in expression.
he's like, here's the thing. Do you see how ridiculously long these teeth are? I cannot close my mouth.
These do not
Every
close.
time I do, I just stab myself.
Yeah.
Oh! So,
Who would design this?
anyway, so they're swinging around, and they notice some commotion, and there was just a bunch of, like, teenagers who were hanging out, like, who were, like, walking by, and then Carnage just looked at all the teenagers and said, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and at mo, he grabbed, like, some girl and pushed her through a wall.
Oh, so she's dead.
So he has Jameson.
Yeah.
And he finds these kids.
And he's like,
And he
hey,
stops with Jameson.
yes,
To kill one of them.
yes,
Before then taking off to the next thing.
yes,
Well, it's to show you that, like, hey, I could do this to you.
yes.
What? I
But
don't
it's
think he
mostly-
needs to do that.
There's no reason for it.
You broke a hole through the side of this building
Right?
to kidnap me.
He's a crazy blood monster that looks like Spider-Man.
Also,
Like,
oh my god, Spider-Man's gone crazy again!
Yeah, the fact that he doesn't even think it's Spider-Man is a missed opportunity. So
He's a menace!
Venom's freaking out because like the teenagers won't like tell Venom which way he went because they don't really know because they were too busy watching their friend be murdered.
right?
And so Spider-Man's like, whoa, 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 whoa! That poster next to that poor dead girl. It's for a metal concert that's happening right now at Madison Square Garden. Maybe he saw that poster and he went to it to get the audience he's looking for.
Wait a minute! There's a wrapper for a Gentino's Italian Subway sandwich over there! Maybe he went to go to a delicious Italian hoagie!
Exactly. I hope you're not wrong. And it's like, pray I'm not. So anyway, they go to...
Oh, I am so wrong, but these sandwiches are delicious!
Yeah. So they go to Headbanger Heaven, their concert at Madison Square Garden. I think it's amazing that they can make it Madison Square Garden, but make up a band.
Yeah.
And so they, so there's this metal band happening, and they're rocking out to a lot of people. Then Carnage shows up, and he kills one of the stagehands, and then everyone's like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" Because they think it's part of the show.
I was going to say, of course we do that.
And so Carnage grabs the microphone and is like, "Hi, everybody! I'm Carnage, and I kill people." And it's really easy to do it. And I want you guys to, like, watch me kill this suit so that you can see just how easy it is. And then you guys can all, like, get with the program, get with the Carnage.
Okay, with the Sonics, him being at the
Concert.
isn't a problem?
Well, he's on the stage. The music is blaring at the people.
Okay.
The concert is going to be the linchpin to everything.
Gotcha.
Right, but at the same time, I also have this wonderful image where he goes on stage, he's like, "Hi, guys!
That's literally it.
I'm Carnage!"
He says, "Hey, kids, I'm Carnage. I kill people." Like he's Barney the dinosaur.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill people," and like the audience at one point, you see like a couple of audience members go like, "Hey, man, like authority sucks, but like killing people's not cool." And then one guy's like, "No, it is. Watch, I'm gonna kill this chick," and Spider-Man saves her. And then while
Wait,
Spider-Man,
a random dude is gonna kill somebody?
yeah, he's like, "Yeah, Carnage's right."
Yeah, Carnage rules.
While Carnage is distracted by Spider-Man saving that girl, Venom like blasts out of the stage and just grabs J. Jonah Jameson.
Uh-huh.
But then Carnage like gets the upper hand. So Carnage got the upper hand now. And
Stay away.
yeah, so Carnage and Venom fight, and their fight like goes into the subway. Like they blast through the floor, and they go into the subway system. And then Carnage's like, "Well, look at all these people!" So he starts killing people.
You can't stop me! I can put tendrils everywhere!
Yeah, there's this great moment, which as a kid, biggest moment for me in this book. Venom is like trying to rattle Carnage, and they're fighting, and so Venom like rears up and goes for a big punch. Mm-hmm. Carnage catches the punch, and while they're doing this exchange, Venom's like, "I'm older and more experienced, and I'm wiser. I've got more, like, I know more about how to use a symbiote you're destined to lose." And so when Carnage catches the fist, he goes, "Yeah, but I'm nastier." He sends his symbiote inside Venom's symbiote and rips it apart.
Whoa. Can he do that?
He just did. So Carnage gets away, and then Venom and Spider-Man go back to the stage where Jonah is now strung up and ready to be killed. And Spider-Man's like, Jonah, what are you doing here?
Wait.
Why didn't you leave? And he's like, because it was a scoop. Spider-Man's like, God damn it, Jonah. So then Spider-Man bails while Venom and Carnage fight.
I'm getting out of here.
I'm leaving.
You know what, Jonah? You can die.
Yeah.
I tried.
No, so Spider-Man saves Jonah while Venom and Carnage fight, and then Spider-Man realizes that he's at a freaking, like, rock concert. So he goes up to the sound booth, and he turns the volume on full blast, which winds up affecting both Venom and Carnage.
Right.
So, even though Carnage was born on Earth,
He's still susceptible to
he's
sonics.
still susceptible to sonics.
Yes, and fire. Both Venom and Carnage are hit by these blasting speakers.
And it looks awesome.
It looks cool. And Spider-Man's like, I gotta shut the music before Venom, you get killed. And he's like, no, I can take it. You gotta stop Carnage. So he just...
You gotta blast me harder!
Yeah, so he does. And the suit is, like, discorporated, according to Venom. I don't know what that means, but it's not there anymore, even though it's definitely gonna come back.
Well, clearly that's what that means.
Right. So he defeats Carnage, and Venom is like, you can turn off the music. And Spider-Man's like, no, I can't. So he leaves the music on.
Why?
Leaving Venom in a state of, like, agony so that Venom can go to jail too.
What a dick move! Come on!
Venom's a murderer and a criminal.
Yeah,
and
he was clearly turning around.
Yeah, but I don't know, but he's still a
Hey,
murderer.
thanks for helping me! You're going to jail.
Sorry, power and responsibility, man. So Venom is, like...
Let's not remember who the hero of this story is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So Spider-Man...
Also, when Spider-Man turns the speakers on, he hits them full blast, and they're just hitting everyone. Does anyone in the audience go, hey,
They left.
no one's playing right now?
No, they all left.
Those guys were fakers!
What a bunch of phonies! So Venom is incensed. He attacks Spider-Man while he's still in a perpetual state of, like,
Makes
agony.
sense.
And then he gets hit in the back with a sonic gun from Mr. Fantastic.
The date didn't go well for Johnny, huh?
Oh, Johnny came with him too.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm guessing
Johnny's date was with the Fantastic.
the reason why Johnny didn't go with him in the first place is because Johnny had to go get Mr. Fantastic and the sonic gun to join them.
Right, and what about the ever-living thing? And
Yeah, you're a big rock monster. Bless
I
you.
had to sneeze.
I heard.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This episode's over.
Spider-Man's like feeling like an asshole because he is one.
Good.
And Mr. Fantastic's like, son, you did the right thing. Like, Venom is a monster. He belongs in jail. It would have been irresponsible of you to let him run wild. And J. Jonah Jameson says Captain America would have kept his word.
That's amazing. I love that.
Wow!
And then Spider-Man grabs Jonah by the shirt and he says, Captain America wouldn't have needed to give his word. He would have found a perfect way to fix this. Because he's a legend, and I'm just a man. And men make mistakes and have to live with them. And then he leaves. And that's why I like that ending. So he's like, no.
Hey, I'm allowed to screw up.
I screw up. I'm a person.
We got one last question for you about this book.
Yeah.
The artist. Who's the artist on this?
Mark Bagley.
Is it Bagley? Why does Bagley decide he's going to put these two little marks there so it looks like Spider-Man's nose, like he has a skeleton nose?
Yeah, he has like his eyes have little like guys.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
'Cause
It's just the tapering of the eyes that have like a cool little like
okay,
jagged thing in the
'cause
middle.
It looks like it's his
He
nose.
did that for this time, like
Yeah.
during this time for a little while, and then he stopped.
I don't like the fact that on the back of Venom's hand you have that little white spot.
That's where the webbing comes out.
Yeah, with a dot in the center.
Yeah, that's where the webbing comes out. That's how you know that's the pad for the webbing. It's to break up the black. Spider-Man had it too when he had the symbiote.
But that's because when he had the symbiote, he still used his own webbing.
No, he didn't.
I thought he still had the shooters for a little
No,
while.
he didn't need them. When he had the symbiote, he didn't need them anymore. And the webbing came out the other end. Like, because the webbing came out here where he had
Wrist,
the but when he used the symbiote, it came out the top, which he found was a little more convenient. Because the webbing would just come out when he needed it instead of like him having to think to do it.
Yeah, but then you also have to be like, whoa.
Well, he could
and
do
grab
this
it.
too. He just has to extend his hand out. So actually, it shoots out and then he just catches it. It's not unlike when he would do this and it would shoot out and he'd catch it. So that's the origin's first adventure of Carnage, and you actually get to see it's almost like also a pilot test program to see like, do you like Venom? Do Do you like Venom kind of like doing good?
Do you want him to team up with people? Guess what? He won't do that because we're always going to lock him away at the end.
Yeah. No, but then when Venom becomes Lethal Protector, they team up with everybody. He teams up with Carnage. I'm sorry, he doesn't team up with Carnage. He fights Carnage. But he does team up with the Punisher, kinda. He teams up with Morbius the Living Vampire.
This should not be called Carnage.
Well, this is the first appearance of Carnage.
I know it is, but like I'm just saying, like.
Oh, it should be called something like, I don't know,
anything else.
Duality or something.
Yeah, because like
The
Carnage
trio.
is in it. He's really.
It is Carnage. It's all about
he's,
Carnage.
He's really just the MacGuffin. Like he's the reason for the other adventure to happen.
He is the adventure.
That's
You
fair.
gotta defeat Carnage.
I mean, it's fair for the title, I guess.
But like, I don't know.
Do you want Venom to be on there a little bit?
It should be called Spider-Man Venom Carnage.
Just saying, it's not like I learned a whole lot about Carnage other than like he kills people at random.
That's all you need to
unless
know.
he doesn't.
Right, until he doesn't.
Until he has one problem with someone we recognize.
Yeah. So there you have it, everybody. Spider-Man Carnage. You can pick it up in the description box below this video. Not this one. This is like the first trade.
Like printing?
Aw.
Yeah, this is mine. It has like, look at the cover gallery from the 3 issues he appeared in. And they're awesome. And yeah, so there you have it. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you guys next week with an all-new episode back. Here's some Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.